final match between Georgia Tech and UC Davis. It's all gonna come down to this final solve. And just like that, UC Davis takes the whole thing. Berkeley shows San Diego they're not here to mess around. And Andrew takes that solve from Hamza. What a match. Welcome back, everybody, to the Collegiate Cubing Championship. We are back from our week-long hiatus, and I'm super glad to be joined by the one, the only Manu Singhal.
At your service, everyone. This was a match I could not miss. I'm like out traveling and everything. But yeah, definitely had to be here for this one. Awesome to be in the booth with my good friend Martin again. Collegiate Cubing Championship, let's go!
We're coming back hot with two quarterfinal matchups tonight, starting off with number 2 UC Berkeley versus number 7 UCLA. Super close in time. It's going to be a super competitive matchup. Lots of really fast solving all the way throughout, close matchups every single set. And just to remind you guys, we'll be doing a best of 3 sets with each set as a best of 7 solves as a head-to-head matchup of a best of 7 solves. First team to win 2 sets will win this matchup and move into the semifinals of the Collegiate Cubing Championship. Manu, we are nearing the end of our first season of the Collegiate Cubing Championship. Just 7 matches left.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. Just absolutely wild. I mean, look, it's March, right? And what word goes along with March? Madness, of course. And why couldn't you have that in cubing either? So that's exactly, I think, what we're going to see in the remaining matchups. And I'm just super excited. The only thing I'm gonna say is, as a former Golden Bear, this one is not even close. All right, like UCLA. Back when I was at Berkeley, there used to be a site called berkeleyrejects.com, and it would redirect to the UCLA admissions page. So that's all I'm saying. There's a reason that website existed.
So we got a rivalry matchup here. I mean, looking at the stats, Berkeley definitely has a bit of an edge. There's no getting around that. I was just watching Berkeley's first matchup earlier today. They are hot. They are fast. There is no getting around that. UCLA going to have an uphill battle here for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, that to be said, like respect where respect is due. UCLA is an extremely good team, right? They got a bunch of really fast solvers. I think we just got word that all 3 solvers are here now as well. So it's going to be a full matchup here. I wouldn't be surprised if this went all the way down to the wire, last set, very last solve even. It's just going to be nuts. And it's been a big week for the University of California, Berkeley. They recently hosted the PSL Premier Speedcubing League. And one of the competitors, I think Ethan Jan, also competed in that too. So they may have a bit of a leg up in terms of, raw speed and then also like head to head. But it's going to be exciting all the way. So stay tuned, everyone. Yeah.
Absolutely going to be a super exciting matchup. We want to get started as soon as we can. And we have a super, super special guest doing our coin flip tonight, fellas. The GOAT, Felix Zemdeg, is going to be doing our coin flip tonight. Let's see if we can get him pulled up.
Okay, hi everyone. Today we've got UC Berkeley versus UCLA. So if I flip the coin and it's heads, UC Berkeley will start, and if it's tails, UCLA will start. So let's go. So as you can see there, or maybe can't see, yep, that's Queen Elizabeth, so it's a head. So UC Berkeley will start. Good luck to both teams, but particularly UCLA. Max's brother studies there, so go UCLA.
Thank you, Felix, the absolute GOAT of cubing, doing our coin flip. And Berkeley coming away with the W. Let's take a quick second to meet our first 2 competitors. Calix on the left side of your screen for Berkeley, 797 average, 396 PB single. Yan on the right side of your screen for UCLA, 1042 second average, 590 single. I mean, here you can just see Berkeley, super, super fast team all the way around. I mean, Yan's quick too, but Berkeley, man, they are quick.
I mean, yeah, it's just tough to go up against Calix. You know, Calix is a Bay Area native. You know, he was here for a while before he went off to do his undergraduate at Georgia Tech. Now he's back at Berkeley as a grad student, right back home. So right where he belongs. He's fit in super well with the Berkeley team, and it's great to see Calix, you know, one of the best blind solvers in the world, and you know, he's just absolutely amazing on 3x3 as well. I expect nothing from greatness from both of these guys because they're both just amazingly talented. Just because Yan is slower on the paper doesn't mean that he can't take a solve or two off. So, you know, be prepared for that, everyone. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and I mean, when Berkeley first went, we saw I can't remember who they went up against. I think it was Santa Barbara. They took a couple of solves on them. Our we've readjusted our averages, so the order has been mismatched a little bit here. But you know, UCLA, they're a fast team, so they're not looking for anything crazy bad to happen to Berkeley here. They're looking for one or two slip ups, one or two 8 or 9 second solves, and they can definitely slip in there and put some pressure on Berkeley. Calix getting things kicked off on yellow cross here, going into PLL around 5 seconds. A little lucky, 680 for Calix.
Yeah, I mean, just a great solve. Like, it's a little bit slideshowy for me here, but even I was able to tell that he got a pretty nice OLL. Just a very, I couldn't quite tell if it was fat soon or fat left soon. Just not sure which way the camera is flipped for me. Into just simple PLL. So 680, he just made it look like super quick work. That's just incredible. One of the faster solves we've already seen in the entire tournament.
Yeah, Calix setting the bar high, setting the standard early on for Berkeley. Yeah, and looks like maybe he's looking at Orange Cross here. That's what he's gonna go with. Going into OLL around 6 seconds, PLL around 6.5, and it's gonna be a 908 for Yan.
Yeah, I mean, a good solve for Yan, but unfortunately, it's like a 2 second difference or whatever. And part of that looks like it kind of came down to the length of the F2L solution. Obviously, I'm no top solver myself, but even I can tell that there's two factors, right? You want to have good turn speed, but then you also need low move count. That's how you can get the fastest time possible. So you need to really like put both of them into full force. And that's what the best solvers can do. So even if one of those things slip up, it can be rough. This one looks pretty good though, Martin.
Yeah, it looks like Yan might be looking at Orange Cross again. Or it looks like he's going with White Cross, excuse me. A little bit of pausing in F2L. Lockups going into OLL, going into PLL around 9 seconds, and a 1063 for Yan.
Yeah, I think it's exactly as you said. That lockup I think was pretty huge because it's gonna be pretty tough, I think, for Calix to get something worse than 1063. Notably, it was on White Cross. I think that's something that Calix is also going to look for. As he's warming up, he's getting ready. He's gonna go up 2-0 on this set, I think pretty likely. Although we'll see. Stranger things have happened.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, we saw nerve management. I've been saying it all season, but it's definitely a big thing. We saw that get to Ethan in round 1 a couple weeks back. Definitely cost him a couple of solves here. Calix got to remain cool. Looks like he's been doing that in the one solve we've seen from him and in his practicing and warm-ups. So it looks like he's turning it quite smooth. Calix looks like he's going to go in with Yellow Cross here. Going into PLL at around 6 seconds. It's going to be a fast one, 752.
Yeah, just clinical. Tough to see many mistakes from my end at least. Interesting that he picked Yellow Cross instead and not the White Cross like Yan did. But yeah, up 2-0, that's got to be pretty feels good in this first set. Being up a set is just huge also, right? It just means that, you know, the guys who are going to come later as the matches get tighter and tighter, it's just less work for them to do. And sometimes this can be like a big mental thing, as you're saying too. Being up 1-0 is like, all right, you know, I did my job. Now it's time to let the other guys cook.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, looking at Yan warming up right now, it looks like there's definitely some lockups in his turning that he's going to want to iron out quickly here and start putting some pressure on Calix. I mean, Calix, flawless solving so far. So a lot easier said than done for sure. Calix looking at White Cross right now. Going in a little bit longer in F2L. Looks like lockups in OLL going into PLL around a high 7, 860 for Calix.
Interesting. Have to think that I wonder if he kind of dropped one a little bit there. And I couldn't fully tell. Martin, maybe you can comment on this. It looks like he kind of had like a pretty big pause. I don't know if that was in between F2L and OLL or between two F2L pairs. I wonder if that's going to end up costing him in this one because 860 is doable.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like we were saying, these small little mistakes are opportunities for UCLA to come and take in a solve for definitely a stacked UC Berkeley squad. Yan going into PLL around 9 seconds, just not fast enough. A 10:58 for Yan.
Yeah, just not quite able to get it done, unfortunately. So Calix is gonna hold on 3-0. That's pretty big. We're on set point already. Yan to solve first. Yeah, not looking good for UCLA starting things off. But you know what? That's just how the Golden Bears roll, baby.
Yeah, and something else to mention at this point too is just the total dominance from UC Berkeley we've seen, not just in their first match, but in the whole tournament overall. I believe I'm looking at the stats right now. Yeah, 3 of the top 8 solvers are UC Berkeley guys. 2 of the top 5 are UC Berkeley solvers. So total dominance. Calix starting off with a 680, 860. Definitely could expect a little bit faster from Calix, but not a bad average overall. So UC Berkeley not just looking to take this tough match from UCLA, but also to assert their dominance in the whole tournament. Yan going in with Blue Cross, going into PLL around 7 seconds, a 9:21, so a little bit better for Yan.
Yeah, not too bad from Yan. Yeah, not much else I can really commentate there. I mean, you know, these guys are solving way faster than I am. So I'm sure they definitely know the details more or less. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Calix does here. Just needs to make sure he doesn't get in his head. You know, he's a cool customer. Don't anticipate that'll be a problem for him. Thinking, okay, you know, I got to get a 9. He's probably doesn't need to do anything crazy, but also just needs to make sure he doesn't make any catastrophic mistakes or his cube doesn't explode. Sometimes that's like a given. You know, it's like, okay, your cube won't explode. Sometimes you got to focus a little bit more on it.
Absolutely, Calix looks like he's taking a good look at White Cross here. Sets it with white face down, going in with White Cross. Super smooth F2L quick transition into OLM PLL 789 for Calix.
Yeah, just clinical. Just nothing you can really say. Like when you have to beat a 9, that's like the type of solving you want to do. Just no problems whatsoever for Calix. Berkeley up 1-0 against UCLA. And yeah, like I said, common Berkeley W. This is the oldest running cube club in the world. So of course makes sense. You know, a lot of experience, a lot of history at Berkeley Cube Club. And yeah, well done to Calix to kind of represent.
Berkeley taking that first set. Let's take a quick second to look at these solves. You know, I was saying Calix got the 860. Could expect a little bit better from him, but man, 7.7 I mean, you can't argue with that. That's a fantastic set from Calix. Yan 988, not too bad for him, but I mean, when you're going against Berkeley, you're going against some of the best of the best. So gonna be a tough set overall. Great attempt from Yan, but Berkeley coming out on top early.
Yep. And yeah, I think that's exactly the right play. Here we go. Ethan versus Alan. Alan just entered the building not too long ago, right before the match started. So I wonder if he's gotten a chance to calm down a little bit. And Ethan Jan, oh man, watch out. Ethan, if he decides to turn fast, he's gonna get some crazy singles.
Absolutely. And you know, in round 1, we had his average a little bit higher, or excuse me, a little bit faster. I think he was closer to low 7. It was a bit of a mixed bag for the first round performance from Ethan, so his average has been adjusted slightly to reflect that. Looking back on it, you can see nerves affecting his later solves. So 792, maybe a little bit misleading. We'll have to see what Ethan can produce here. He's probably looking to get maybe a sub 7 average, definitely a low 7. Allen 863. So of course Berkeley with that about a second edge, maybe 0.8 seconds or so. Gonna be a tough road for UCLA.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Alan is a competitor, though. He's a great guy, super fun to talk to. Always just like super jolly and stuff. I don't know if this is an actual solve that has just started. If the match already started. Okay, no,
No,
I'm
I think so.
okay, just a practice run. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe some of those nerves from Ethan. Notably, if you all watched him at PSL earlier, a couple days ago, he was turning considerably slower in the quote unquote official solves that he was doing as opposed to his warm up solves. So I wonder which Ethan Jan we're gonna see here. Are we gonna see the controlled Ethan where he's turning slower and still like trying to look ahead, or are we gonna see just turn fast and try and go for a crazy single? Anything, I think it's all on the cards here.
Yeah, and I think something we've been hearing from our former competitors, and I can attest to this as well, is you don't think it's gonna be that bad, but then you go on camera and it's a lot worse than you think it is. The nerves set in quick, and you don't expect it. When you sit down at like a competition or whatever, you kind of know what to expect. But once the camera turns on and you see your face on the stream or whatever, those nerves build up fast, and you get a little bit caught off guard, and dealing with those nerves becomes a little bit harder. And that's when you see those little mistakes start to creep in. Those are opportunities, especially here for UCLA. Allen getting things kicked off on White Cross here. Going into OLL around 7 seconds. PLL 9:49 for Allen.
Yeah, I mean, not too bad, all things considered. Looks like he did have a bit of an execution error, I think, transitioning from OLL into PLL. This should be no problem for Ethan. I expect to see that Ethan's just going to turn slowly and just make sure that there aren't any major mistakes.
Yeah, we'll see how Ethan decides to get things kicked off. I'm definitely expecting a little bit slower turning than we've seen from him. Looks like that's what we're gonna get. Super smooth going in with Red Cross. 6:53. Wow.
Yeah, and you can see like there, like the reason why he did the pause there, he's gonna do ZBLL, that is, once you have all edges oriented in the top layer. Of course, your F2L is done. All edges oriented in the top layer. You just solve the rest of the cube from there. 493 algorithms. Ethan knows all of them. So he's
Wow.
able to just take advantage of good cases and stuff like that. What's crazy also is he's a color neutral solver, so he's going to be using every cross color, and that makes ZBL recognition that much harder. So it's very, very impressive what Ethan is able to do. And you're right, Martin. It didn't look like he was turning that fast, and it was still 6.5, which like kicks basically every single solve I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan, a scary solver for sure. He's going into solve number 2 now. Not sure what cross he's favoring. Maybe blue cross now. We'll see. It looks like he's going in with white cross. Yeah, slow controlled solving. Doesn't look like he went with the ZB here, but it's going to be a 772 for Ethan.
Yeah, actually, it did look like he kind of locked up a little bit, especially at the end, but also looks like maybe a little bit in the middle. So not sure what that was all about because it didn't look like he was trying to turn particularly fast. So Ethan is definitely going to want to kind of lock in on his turning a little bit. This is definitely doable for Allen. A little closer than I had anticipated.
Yeah, Allen definitely gonna need to step up here, but definitely possible for him. But major pause in F2L here. Still trying to find those last pairs. Going into PLL around 10 seconds. Fumbles the cube 12:44. Some clear frustration there from Allen.
Yeah, that's really unlucky. I'm sure Allen knew like, okay, like 772, that's definitely doable, but unfortunately just not able to get the F2L going. Look ahead, man. The look ahead is so critical for top solvers, for anyone, honestly. If you don't know what you're going to do next, then you're just gonna do a bunch of turns, and then you're just gonna have to sit there and pause. I think Timon had a very funny comment when he was talking about Stephen Wittringham solves on the Cubicle channel. He's just like, you do a bunch of turns, then sleep. Bunch of turns and then sleep. You don't want your turning to look like that. And so yeah, Allen's gonna have to pick it up here for solve number 3. Otherwise, he's gonna be down 3-0.
Yeah, we saw him, I think, maybe wiping off the cube. Maybe he's got some lube on it or something. Coming in with much quicker solving, a lot more confidence. We'll see if it pays off here. Got a soon going into PLL around 7 seconds. 850 for Allen.
Yeah, 850. I mean, just a better solve altogether. I think you're absolutely right, Martin. I think you can tell like he started to turn fast kind of immediately, and that I think maybe led to a little bit of confidence. Now he did still pause a little bit, and sometimes that happens when you're turning faster, but he got rewarded for it in the end. 850 is like not a bad time at all. Now against Ethan, who knows, might be leaving the door wide open.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Ethan looks like he's been turning a little bit slower, so we'll see how this goes for him here. But man, just so smooth all the way through. 683 for Ethan. No question about it. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, just great. I mean, from this angle, it's a little hard to tell what exactly he did in F12, but astute viewers will probably notice he did a lot of D moves and kind of like U wide moves, and you're like, what's going on here? So that could either be some sort of keyhole or like multi-slot type of stuff, which is very, very advanced, but it can save you a ton of moves, and that goes back to the thing I was mentioning earlier, right? It's not just about turn speed. Efficiency is also really important. And that's a huge advantage of when you turn slower. Is typically your efficiency increases a lot. Let's see if Ethan can close this one out.
Yeah, Ethan now up 3-0 on Allen. Going in with White Cross here. So smooth. Looks like he's looking for that ZB. Oh, but lots of lockups. 709 regardless for Ethan.
Yeah, yeah. UZBLL is a pretty decent set. I'm not sure which exactly subset it was. A little bit hard to tell from the angle that I have. But yeah, just smooth turning all throughout, and that's just the key to success. Just turn slow and do ZB, and he got rewarded. Let's see what Alan can do.
Yeah, Allen going in with White Cross here. 709 definitely going to be a little bit tough, but not outside the realm of possibility. A lot faster turning, big movements. 929 for Allen. Ethan taking that fourth solve here.
Yeah, 4-0, 4-0 to Berkeley, and it's kind of crazy. Even in like the quarterfinal matchup, I thought it was going to be a little bit closer, but Berkeley coming out absolutely swinging. I don't even know why they're the number 2 seed, honestly. They definitely should be the number 1 seed, and they are a force to be reckoned with. I don't know who's going to take them down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at that. 704 mean on this for Ethan. I mean, a couple lockups being smoothed out, and that's going to be a sub 7 there. Just incredible solving from Ethan. Allen had a little bit more trouble getting something going. Ethan able to take all 4 solves on him. Berkeley now up 2-0. So they have won this matchup, and we'll move on to the semifinal round. We'll continue playing this matchup out just to see how everybody solves. And I think we're going to see some more terrifyingly fast solving from the UC Berkeley squad. Let's meet our next competitors. Heidi, 712 average, 340 PB single. Shawn, 887 average, 595 PB single.
Yeah, I mean, both of these solvers are so good. Like, they're so good. I mean, Heidi, former female world record holder, former fastest newcomer, now at UC Berkeley. She's also a Bay Area native, so she's right at home, and she's just incredible. One of the funniest stories I have is at a competition. I remember Heidi was a judge. I was there. I was just doing my solve. I did a soon COL, and then after the solve, she kind of gave me the stink eye. She's like, "Dude, don't do that. Why would you do a soon COL? That was a mistake." Oh my goodness, just amazing solver. And Shawn also, I think for many years, he's down here in SoCal. He's been kind of like the guy to be competing a little bit less recently. Of course, college is tough, right? So, but it's pretty impressive that he's able to still pull out times like this. I have no idea what he's using as the cube cover. That looks like something from like Daiso or something. Like a dishwasher. I don't know. It looks like something for the kitchen, but hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah, we may have to make a collection of unique cube covers. I think actually it was Shawn. He had a Takis bag at one point,
Oh my
and like a mug or something. So
Oh, that's hilarious.
Shawn with the creative cube covers for sure. I think Heidi's gonna be getting things started off for Berkeley here. Expecting super quick, super fluid solving. Some pauses in the video. Can't tell what happened early on. 662 though.
662.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly right. It did freeze up for me a little bit too, so not fully sure what her solution was like, but ended up with some kind of EPLL. Couldn't tell if it was UPerm or HPerm. I don't think it was ZPerm. But yeah, that's just how it goes for Heidi. She's just built like that.
Yeah, it's something to mention about this UC Berkeley team. I just now realized Ethan Jan with the 709 average actually puts him as the number 1 solver for this whole competition, above Heidi now. But Shawn getting things kicked off for UCLA. 874, not fast enough to take down Heidi on this first solve.
Yeah, just not quite enough. It's interesting what cube Shawn is using here, because this looks like, from the logo, it kind of looked like it was one of the cubing classroom cubes, which is really interesting because that cube is, it's like a really, really, really cheap cube. But if it works for Shawn, it just goes to show that you don't need to have, the top of the line $140 or whatever cube in order to, get good solve times. Sometimes it's just like even like simple cubes that you can kind of just like get for $5, you can make work. So let that be a lesson for all the little Timmies out there. You're looking to get into speed cubing, you want a new cube. It doesn't have to be top of the line. There's a lot of stuff
Yeah,
you can do with your $5 um, beginner's cube even.
yeah, absolutely. And you know what, Manu? We give away $3 gift cards to the Cubicle if you're just in the YouTube chat. So that's like half of an RS3M right there. So you definitely want to be watching our live streams and have a chance to win those gift cards. Shawn going in with solve number 2, having some trouble here and getting into OLL here, but man, pauses 1286 for Shawn.
Yeah, just unfortunate there. It looks like the ending of that F2L looks like he maybe missed a move or something as he was trying to insert an edge, perhaps, and then had cross edges on top. And at that point, it's basically all over. 1286. Heidi can honestly just solve this with one hand, and she has a very, very good chance of beating that time. Nothing against Shawn. It's just, Heidi is just that kind of solver.
Yeah, and something we've seen from Berkeley, I think, is just cool, calm, and collected solve. And I don't see any nerves from the whole Berkeley team at all. Going into PLO around 5 seconds. Oh, but messing up that U-perm. Oh, 10:01 for Heidi.
Yeah, actually, that was a lot closer than it should have been. I mean, yeah, I think because she was like going like lightning fast through there. When she got into the U perm, I want to say like either low or mid five. So she had a very, very good chance for a low six there. No matter like how it kind of shook up, but unfortunately missing one of the U moves, and then it kind of turned into a Rusolve a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to hurt Heidi's average a little bit. Ethan, after his last set, right now holding the number 1 spot in the competition. Maybe Heidi's looking to bring him down. 662, 10:01. Going to have to see some more sub 7 solving if she wants to reclaim that spot. But I mean, frankly, either way, she's putting on a virtuosic performance here. Heidi going in with White Cross here, going into PLL around 5 seconds. Got another U-perm again. Not able to stick it super great, but at 8:11 nonetheless.
Yeah, Z perm unfortunately, which is really, really unfortunate because when you see that COL case and you do the COL, you're like, okay, great. I'm gonna get rewarded with the skip. All my corners are gonna be solved. This is great. The only thing you don't want to see is Z perm. Z perm is so many moves, so many U moves that you have to do. It's just so many chances to make a mistake, unfortunately. So Heidi kind of getting unlucky there. 8:11. Let's see what Shawn can do.
Shawn going in with White Cross here. Had a pretty rough solve last time,
Ooh,
but
this is a
much
good
better
one.
solve. And it's 6:55 for Shawn.
Yeah, he's got
Wow.
one. He's got one. That's the first solve I think Heidi has lost in the competition too. And yeah, just a great solve. One of the things I thought was interesting is there was an F2L pair, a white F2L pair that I think Shawn either preserved or he did something with because it looked like he only ended up needing to do 3 F2L pairs. When you can preserve a pair, that's huge because that's one pair that you just don't need to care about. So you can look ahead to pair number 2. And in some cases it flows really, really well. 655 for Shawn, definitely, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic solve from Shawn. UCLA finally getting something up on the board. Shawn looking to follow that up with something similar. Difficulties early on. Going into PLO with an A-perm, 989 for Shawn.
Yeah, man, a bit unfortunate there because that solve could have been like, oh, this solve what it could have been. It was really, really, really close, I think, to being something spectacular, but unfortunately, just the execution errors kind of got in his way. And yeah, I mean, Heidi still needs to win 2 more, so kind of anything can happen. We did see her make a mistake on a U-perm earlier, so hopefully that doesn't happen here.
Yeah, it looks like she's looking at White Cross as well. Much better execution from her here. Rough OLL. 720 from Heidi. Wow.
Another Z perm, so that's I think that's what she's laughing about to get Z perm. back to back, unfortunately. Yeah, it looked pretty good. Looks like there was maybe like a couple of exec errors that may have happened. But I mean, look, a win is a win is a win. And after Heidi also competed at PSL Berkeley this past weekend, and I'm sure after that experience, I think she was out at fifth, I think. So pretty good showing overall. After that experience, she is surely down to just take a win.
Absolutely. And she's well on track to get that done. She's now up 3-1 on Shawn. She's going to be getting the fifth solve of this final set kicked off here. I mean, she was holding that top spot with a very low 7-second average. I believe it was a 7.13. Here, not quite looking in that same range. It's still going to be a very good average nonetheless. So we'll see what she's able to do going into solve number 5, going in with White Cross here. And a 707 for Heidi.
Yeah, just great solve. Okay, at this point, I'm gonna say that she's like starting to do some CP work. CP being corner permutation. When you do OLL, you can kind of take a look at what the corners are looking like, and you can apply one of a couple different algorithms to either solve your corners or make sure that you don't get bad corners. And because you want to avoid cases like E-perm and Y-perm and stuff like that. So great work from Heidi. 707 is gonna be tough.
Yeah, Shawn getting things kicked off on White Cross here. OLL difficulty is 837 for Shawn.
That's gonna do it. That's gonna be the last solve for UCLA in this context. They're gonna get knocked out as the madness is just getting started. Just an unfortunate solve for Shawn because it looked like he was really flowing, but then at the end, just like lockups. Looks like he ended up with a G perm also, and just unable to get another solve off. 4-0, 4-0, 4-1 for Berkeley. Comprehensive.
Yeah, Heidi coming in with that 7.81 average. So that 10.01 not doing her any favors, but still a fantastic average nonetheless. Shawn, 928. Definitely maybe expected a little bit faster solving, but he banked that 655. So a great solve nonetheless. But yeah, Berkeley, impressive virtuosic performance here. All sub 8 solvers, and they're taking this first quarterfinal match 3-0. UCLA only able to take one solve on UC Berkeley. Just impressive showing.
Just a bit tough if you're UCLA because UCLA is a very, very talented crew. And you have to think, okay, we're gonna go into this, we're gonna try and get a couple off. Unfortunately, it was not their day when you're going up against the Golden Bears of UC Berkeley, the Cal Cube Club. Just so much experience behind all the years and all the great names who have come through the Cal Cube Club, one of the homes of modern speed cubing. So great to see my alma mater still kicking, looking strong, and they're going to be really, really tough. Who do they have next, Martin? Who are they?
Yeah.
Who are their potential opponents?
Yeah, let's take a look at the bracket here. Looks like they're going to be facing off number 3 Ohio State or number 6 Georgia Tech.
Oh my goodness, this is so tragic because my other favorite team is Ohio State because I'm also a Buckeye at heart, grew up in the Buckeye State. I was really hoping to see Ohio State and UC Berkeley in the finals. Ooh, that's tough. That's
Yeah.
tough. That's gonna be a thriller of a match.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, whether it's Ohio State or Georgia Tech, I'm thinking that quarterfinal match is going to be pretty close too. I mean, you look at some of our other ones, number 5, UT Austin, UNC Chapel Hill, number 4. That one's going to be an absolute thriller. And later tonight, we got UW-Madison versus Vanderbilt. Now, I believe you commentated a Vanderbilt match. They are impressive for sure.
Yeah, most certainly. I think 9 is like underseed for them. They definitely have what it takes. Marcus came in alone, man. That guy is a competitor. He's done it in official competitions too. So you want to watch out for that. But oof, UW Madison, that's gonna be a tough wall for them. Exciting. We'll see who wins, the unstoppable force or the immovable object.
Yeah, it's going to be super exciting for the Collegiate Cubing Championship moving forward. Unfortunately, we're having some technical difficulties, so you won't be able to see our beautiful faces anymore. But thank you so much, Manu, for coming on. It's always a pleasure to commentate with you. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Manu.
Of course, of course. Thanks a ton, everyone. Enjoy the rest of Collegiate Cubing Championship tonight. I know I'm definitely going to be tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got one more matchup for you guys tonight, this evening, UW-Madison versus Vanderbilt. As we were talking about, UW-Madison, they've got a crew, but Vanderbilt came up to the opportunity, upset number 8, Penn State, tonight at 9, so just an hour and a half away. Going to be a super duper exciting match. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Manu, for coming on and commentating. And this is Martin signing off.